Hello and welcome to InfoSpark. Peaky Blinders is a very popular TV series about a Birmingham gang, but just how much does the show get right? Today we're going to look into just who were the real Peaky Blinders. We will start by focusing on just who the real Peaky Blinders were, and then get into some of the interesting bonus facts about the TV series itself. The Peaky Blinders were a gang that operated in the late 1800s to early 1900s, and consisted of anywhere up to 50,000 members. They were based in Birmingham, a major city in the East Midlands in England, that at the time had major issues with poverty and crime. Gang violence was the result of gang-affiliated youths wanting to claim ownership of certain areas of the city. The fights would result in serious injury or death. In the 1870s, one of the most ruthless gangs was the Sloggers, whose name came from pummeling or slogging victims with heavy belt buckles. Not long after, a rival gang emerged, known as the Peaky Blinders. After defeating their rivals, the Sloggers, the Peaky Blinders held control of their territory for 20 years, from around 1890 to 1910. Unlike most gangs at the time, the Peaky Blinders were known to have a dress code, in which most of its members dressed in a similar fashion. They would wear tailored clothing, a peaked flat cap, and an overcoat. Wealthier members of the gang would wear silk scarves and starched collars with metal tie buttons. This was to make the gang members easy to recognize to the general public, police, and rival gang members. It was a tactic that exuded confidence in their abilities. In the TV series, there's a clever misdirect with one of the main characters' clothing. See if you can work it out, and leave a comment below what you think it could be before we reveal the answer in the bonus facts.
By order of the Peaky Blinders.
The name Peaky Blinders came from a legend of the gang stitching razor blades into the peak of their peaked flat caps, which they would use as weapons, swiping at people's faces with them in order to injure or blind their opponents. However, there appears to be little evidence to support that this was actually something they did. It's a myth that was perpetuated to raise more fear of the gang. The name likely came from the gang wearing peaked flat caps, which were commonly referred to as peakies, mixed with the term blinder, which could have been a particularly striking, well-dressed individual. Given that razor blades were still considered an expensive luxury item at the time, and its impracticality as a weapon in a soft hat, it's more likely that they would have used more affordable and reliable weapons, such as belt buckles, knives, canes, and other assorted clubbing items. It is also worth noting that if you were to have razor blades in the peak of your cap, and then headbutt an opponent, then this would be likely to cause just as much, if not more damage to yourself, due to the peak folding inwards. Ouch! Unlike their portrayal in the TV series, that shows them as being a massive gang that controls most of the city and its police, with influence reaching as far as London, in actual fact, the gang, while still being rather large, controlled an area of Birmingham, not the whole city. They would operate around the city, but their home turf was just one part of the large city. They were known to have many parts to their criminal operations, from general hooliganism such as vandalism, rioting and bullying, to mugging, extortion, robbery, and much more. The bulk of their income seems to have come from operating as a bookmaker, which is someone who accepts and pays off bets on events, which at the time was considered to be an illegal activity. Despite this, they were more interested in street fighting, robbery, and racketeering, rather than more organised criminal activity. They preferred a show of strength over having more wealth than their competitors. In the early 20th century, the gang started to decline due to the city's growth. This growth increased the physical distance between rival gangs, which caused less conflict, and the members started to grow older and tired of gang life. Whilst in the series the members are depicted as older, in reality, the members' age ranged closer to the teens and early 20s, rather than late 20s to early 30s. Another factor was stronger sentencing and a better police force, which cracked down on gang activity, whilst the increase in education in the area meant that there were far less new members to recruit from. In its more weakened state, the gang fell to a larger new rival gang, led by an ex-member of the Peaky Blinders, known as the Birmingham Boys. After which the Peaky Blinders fell from power around 1910, and then the later outbreak of World War I in 1914 would find many young men fighting in the war rather than on the streets, aiding in the decline of gang activity. Whilst the actual gang, the Peaky Blinders, had crumbled, the name stuck and began to be used as a generic term to describe young, violent street youths. However, over time, they would slowly become more and more forgotten, fading into obscurity and history, until more recently when the TV series brought new life back into the story. And now let's get into some bonus facts. The main protagonist, Tommy Shelby, is fictional, whereas many of the other violent gangsters in the series were based on real characters. However, Billy Kimber, the leader of the gang that took over from the real Peaky Blinders, the Birmingham Boys, could be a model for Tommy Shelby. In real life, Kimber was reported to be a very charismatic and intelligent man who became possibly the most powerful gangster in England. He used intimidation and extreme violence against his enemies. His gang used razors, knuckle dusters, and pistols. Kimber had another base in London and formed alliances with other gangs in Leeds and Uttoxeter. But unlike the fictional character of Tommy Shelby, Kimber had no political aspirations. The name of Tommy Shelby is loosely based on the infamous member of the Peaky Blinders, Thomas Gilbert. Arthur Shelby is the only member of the Shelby household to ever be seen wearing a bow tie in the TV series. During this period in Great Britain, the head of the family would be identified by wearing of his bow tie. When we have our first introduction to the Shelby brothers, we are guided by this clever distraction, making us believe that Arthur is the head of the family, whereas in reality, his much younger brother, Tommy, who is the leader of the Peaky Blinders gang and also the head of the family, is a great misdirection that is historically accurate.
There is good in my heart. There is good in my heart.
The John Shelby and Michael Gray characters in Peaky Blinders are cousins, but the actors who played them, Joe and Finn Cole, are actually brothers in real life. No wonder they look so alike. Thank you for watching our video. We hope that you enjoyed this one. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe button, and let us know in the comments down below who your favourite character from the series is. Have a great day, and we will see you in the next video.